guys, what is up? This is Orbit here, TGN. Welcome to DC Universe online video. I have just got done speaking to a PC/forum user called Roguester. That's his name on the forum. And he was very helpful. We had quite an extensive conversation. And he was pointing me in the direction of this particular forum post, which was called The Remedy of PvP, I'm pretty sure. And in that post, it had some great ideas of the future of DC Universe Online PvP, which directions it should go to improve and try to balance the game. So the first thing the forum post goes on and says is talking about the RPS system. And the RPS system, for those of you who don't know, stands for rock, paper, scissors, where healers had a buff over tanks, tanks had a buff over controllers, and controllers had a buff over healers. Rock, paper, scissors, right? And then it goes on and saying why the immunity was inside of the game, but the proposal here is to completely remove immunity from PvP arenas and replace it with a new and improved RPS mechanic. Instead of a player being granted immunity for successfully landing a counter, the player will now be rewarded with a class-specific temporary stat buff. On the flip side, if you're countered successfully, you'll be punished with a temporary stat debuff. For example, if you were to counter your opponent as a DPS, you would gain a significant boost in precision, might, critical attack chance or damage, something along those lines, right? A damage specific buff for you. If you were to counter as a controller, you would gain a significant boost in dominance, vitalization, all of the power out chance, the controller specific stats. A healer, you would gain a significant temporary boost in restoration, critical healing magnitude, that stuff, right? And as a tank, you'd gain a significant boost in dominance and toughness. If your opponent counters you, you would receive a significant temporary decrease in all of the above stats. The whole idea of this new system is to try and balance out the game so certain powers won't be dominating in PvP arenas and overshadow others like they have done for a very long time, as long as I can remember actually. Because it's all going to be revolved around these counters. This is where we're going to be getting the bulk of our damage, and at the end of the day, this counter system, which is currently in DC Universe Online, is very unique to the game, and it's what we all love about PvP. So making this important, making this what PvP is all about, I think it will be absolutely fantastic, and it will be definitely in the right lines of esports criteria. As you scroll down through the forum post, there's actually 5 interesting bullet points which I'm just going to go over. Point number 1, these are all talking about the changes that should be made. One of them being the block roll block thing that people are doing. It's more popular on PC, but PS players are doing this as well. And basically the problem is the second block removes the roll vulnerability. If you guess correctly, you perform a delayed block break. If you guess incorrectly, your lunge hits the block. This means it's possible to pretty much counter 2 opponents at once inside a similar time frame, rolling and quickly blocking to dodge an opponent's block break, and also the second block being able to block the opponent's lunge, if that kind of makes a bit of sense to you. Point number 2 is titled Block Break Concern, and it's basically literally going over some concerns of the block break, and it says here that the problem with the block breaking is being able to jump cancel your block break and immediately lunge at your partner. So they are proposing removing the jump cancel block breaks. However, this is something that they are still kind of talking about and want your feedback from it. Bullet point number 3 is titled Knockdowns After Counters. It's going into more detail about these counters, specifically the knockdowns. Basically saying if your attack is blocked, your knockdown should last 1 second. If your block break is lunged, your knockdown should last 2 seconds. If your block break is broken, you should get knocked down for 3 seconds. So it's ranking the counters, right? In basically in terms of how easy they are to pull off. blocking somebody's attack is a lot easier turtling up, you know, especially in group PvP, than it is to actually single target block break someone, for example. So if you can do a block break, you're going to be rewarded the most, and your partner, your opponent, is going to be punished the most. And it goes on a little bit further down as well, basically saying that this should also be ranked in damage. So a attack which you block, they should take the minimum counter damage, a lunge should be medium damage, and a block break should be high damage for pulling these counters off. Point number 4 is talking about closing the counter windows. Obviously, you know, this is all about removing the immunities in the game, so they're looking for other options, and you know, here's the one that they've come up, and I quite like it. It's basically, once you perform a successful counter, you are temporarily immune from counters only. You can still take all of the damage, you can still be crowd controlled, but for a brief period of time you are immune to the counters. And the last bullet point is talking about duels, that once a duel is initiated and accepted, any pre-applied stat buffs should be nullified, PvE trinkets should be disabled, colas should be disabled, players wearing PvE gear should have their stats baselined to tier 0, as in below the stuff that you buy. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for staying until the end. I'm taking no credit whatsoever for any of the stuff which was said during this video, because this was all taken from this forum post which was directed to me, and I agree massively with so much of this stuff. I'm excited. Like I said at the start, this could potentially make this esports worthy, this game. But can you imagine how amazing that would be? Based around skill and counters. If you, at the end of my videos, I always say like, comment, and subscribe. Right? It's just what YouTubers do to you know, drill it into your head at the end of the video, and it does go a long way. However, this time I am actually looking for some feedback here. So please, if you don't normally like, comment, subscribe, please comment. Even if you're not subbed to me, even if you don't thumbs up, comment down below and give me your feedback on this. Maybe you agree with some parts, maybe you disagree with some parts. I don't care what it is. Do it. Just write something. Give us your feedback. I am still not a forum guy. Even though I've gone to the forum, I've kind of read through. I'm not a forum guy. You may not be either. This is the time where you can write a comment here, and hopefully all of you guys will share this video and get it out to as many people as we can. And I know for a fact we'll get the developers watching this video if enough of us agree with it. So please go ahead and do that. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share, use Twitter, use Facebook, anything. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. Stay tuned and stay sexy. Let's add that one in on the end. I've done that for a while.